working? Yeah, okay. Kind of working.
I was having trouble.
Yeah. Here we go. Okay, tuition. We don't want to see that quite yet. Well, we will talk about tuition going here. Chris, thanks a lot for walking through that. And yeah, I want to just finish the evening by talking a little bit about the future, just sort of fiscally. And we'll start off by saying tomorrow you will receive your re-enrollment information, and wanted to give you all who are here tonight just the benefit of a heads up on some of the numbers you'll see. While I'm remembering to do this, I want to say thank you to both Rachel Horak and Jen Rapaki in our business and finance office. I got a crash course in finance this fall, and Jen and Rachel really are real pros, and got me into a mindset where I was immediately thinking not about just now, but the future. And I think that what we've sketched out with their leadership, and also through all the conversations we have at the board level, really good understanding of how we're going to progress into the next, really the next 10 years, but really solid understanding of what the next 3 or 4 years are going to look like fiscally. So let me dive into tuition. So I think you guys might know that this is kind of an oft-quoted number, but generally independent schools annual increase in tuition is about 4%. And the good news for all of us is that next year, if you're paying the full tuition at Indian Creek, you can expect to pay $180 to $510 more dollars, depending on what grade level your student is. So I'm going to flash these numbers up here. If your family is part of the flexible tuition program, it doesn't want me to show it. You want your tuition.
Eagle dome.
Eagle dome.
Let's keep saying eagle dome. While we figure that out, though, I'll keep going. $180 to $510 increase, about 2% on average, which is a pretty modest tuition increase. Through all those conversations at the board level, we're really committed to having that be a pretty consistent increase over the next couple of years. So that's what you can expect. Okay, there we go. Let's take that in for a second. You know, I quoted that 180 to 510, 180 more dollars for our lowest tuition amount at the pre-K 3 and 4 level, and then 510 more at the upper school level. Those of you who have students in the support program will not have an increase to your fees for next year. They'll remain the same. Okay. Sorry, that slide blinking out got me all screwed up here. Okay, Chris alluded to dining when he was talking about the building project. So we have a new plan for dining. With the plan initiatives, and Chris mentioned actually point of sale as an opportunity that we could explore, we decided that this is a good time for us to remove lunch from the tuition that you all pay and offer it as an option that would be covered by a fee. So you can see the costs here. They would average out to about $3 a day for an early childhood student, $4 a day for an elementary grade student, and $5 a day for upper school students. All very affordable, and with no plan changes to the amount that the kids get or the quality of the food. All students who participate in the flexible tuition program will have their lunch fees aligned with their flexible tuition level. So as an example, if a flexible tuition student had a 50% tuition amount, they would have their dining fees cut in half. So we've heard a lot this year that students and families value choice and more control over what they eat, and we feel that this plan program reflects that. As Chris said earlier, it's quite possible that when we have our new building and kitchen set up, that we could consider a point of sale system where you could imagine at least upper school students swiping their card and getting their food accounted for as they check out at a register with their preferred lunch. So that's dining, and then one more fee change I want to highlight. Transportation fees, so for students who ride the bus at the start and end of the day, will increase next year to just over $2,000 for a round trip student who goes to and from school. We know from our research that this is a very affordable price when compared to other local independent schools. One caveat to the transportation plan for next year is that there will be a discontinuation of the activity buses. These routes are very under-enrolled. We do have some days where we send empty buses back to the lot. As you can imagine, that's pretty costly to the school. Part of this is due to the changing times. You know, we know that kids are increasingly pressured to have out of school activities. We know that families want to eat dinner together and have their kids together, and it's just different than when our program of after-school activities was first conceived. So, kind of highlight that point. This year at the upper school, we have 100 students who have winter exemptions from the activity program. And what has evolved is we sort of have a false requirement. It's no longer a requirement that we have kids here for the afternoon hours. So we'll move to an optional activity program for upper school students. And we will, again, discontinue those activity bus routes later in the day. So that's about it for fees. And I imagine I might take some questions about that. But I just want to sum up in saying I am so optimistic about our future. And this building project and all the things that we're planning on doing for our program leave me feeling like I can't wait to get there. And I know with the leadership structure that we put in place this year that we are going to get there. And I'm really glad that you all are part of it, and want you to believe that we have a very bright future. So thank you for coming tonight, and as Chris said, we're both ready to take some questions with you as we conclude the evening. Thank you, everybody.